Hello everyone, this is Oleksii Malashyna. I'm a product manager. Basically now most of the projects I'm working on is AI or data management projects or both of it in one product. I have experience more than a decade. It's a privilege for me to be here as the host of the interview. So you have a great opportunity to check out the interview on the machine learning. We have Denys here, who will be the interviewer, and Mykhailo, who will be answering. This is what we got. Before we start, this video is brought to you with the support of EngX, a program developed by EPAM to boost and spread top-notch software engineering practices and processes across organizations and teams. EngX provides a variety of services, tools, and learning opportunities to keep improving software development performance, integrate best tools into your daily tasks, and promote a culture of excellence and innovations in your teams and companies. So please check out the links below to see more information. Let's meet out our interviewer, Denys. It's over to you. Please share with us your experience and please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Denys. I work at EPAM Systems at the moment. I have 5 years of experience in data engineering and machine learning engineering and MLOps. So currently, I'm mostly involved into the projects for development Gen AI applications, different ML microservices for the big financial company. And I also help them to build the infrastructure for MLOps. So shortly about the role, we are looking for an experienced ML engineer who knows how to work with ML systems end to end. Who is capable to gather business requirements, translate these business requirements into ML objectives, how to prepare the data for machine learning model training, how to deploy the model, and how to monitor its performance. This interview will be like to check the mindset, how the engineer can work with the system end to end, and yeah, I think this is from my side.
And let's go to Mykhailo and please share with us your experience.
Actually, I'm shifter to IT sphere. I have management degree and degree in engineering degree in aviation. But last 5 years, I moved to IT sphere, and especially like in 2021, I started external course in EPAM for DevOps engineering. And before it was also my interest in ML, so these things together works for me. Like it is a very interesting field. So last 4 years, I'm studying and learning a lot from DevOps field and also ML. And for the moment, I'm working as a middle software engineer in EPAM and approaching to like ML ops engineering. So that field should be kind of familiar for me.
Thank you. So now that both of you guys are introduced yourself, I think we are ready to do the interview. And let's kick off that. And for the viewers, please keep to the end to see the feedback session from the both sides. So this is something you will never got on the actual interview. So this is the big advantage of our show as well. So let's go to the interview.
Mykhailo, nice to meet you. I suggest to split our interview into 3 parts. The first part will be about your experience, what projects you worked on, what achievements you are most proud of. The second part will be about your hard skills. So I will ask different technical questions to understand your knowledge and understanding of core ML principles. And the third part will be the coding task, where I will check your Python knowledge if you are able to solve real problems.
Got it.
As I said, let's start with the first section. Could you tell more about your experience, what projects you worked on, and what are your what your achievements are?
Okay, Denys, thank you. Also, nice to meet you. About me. So actually, most of the time I'm studying, but at that studying steps, especially like certification preparations, it is some practice which I achieving like step by step. And especially last 2 years, I worked mostly with GCP cloud, especially with generative AI capabilities. uh, I was working in the company who is like how to say it, integrator on the market, and they are working with different vendors. So I was working as pre-sale engineer for GCP cloud and especially generative AI. And my tasks, it was mostly like to talk to client to understand what they want to achieve by this new technology actually. And most of the time I was working on POCs, like proof of concept of some business idea, to understand is it possible to implement or not. And actually it was not a lot of production coding. But last half of year, actually I'm working on some internal product with also generative artificial intelligence, which is like generative. And my task to adapt um, create and adapt SQL agent, which is kind of different approach to pick up knowledge. Like most of LLM, not LLM, like generative AI applications with like private domain of data works like by semantic search. And for me interesting the approach with structured data, how can we work with it, especially how we can combine it with semantic search. So for the moment I'm approaching to the agentic flow in generative AI applications to combine these two, I think, great capabilities. And also I'm like exploring that SQL generation agent, which can talk to like databases or to local files which have structured data. So there is at the moment my main task and my main field of work.
Okay. Got it. I wanted to ask about your experience with GCP. What services did you work with? What did they actually do for your clients and for your solutions?
Okay, actually, there is one of interesting tool which is Agent Builder, which helps to build agentic applications from the box, out of the box, with some great capabilities there. Before that, to understand how does it work, I was learning Dialogflow. There is also some framework to build these connections between like intent of the person, what he want, and next it is fallback from the program. So understand of this routine and intents, and uh, so it was my place to understand how is everything works in NLP, like from that side. But also, so from this out of the box tool, I started to use code to customize that tasks. And with code come to be like familiar with LangChain. There is great framework also to use this like to build these applications. But about the tasks, actually kind of tasks which I done, it is a search by the image in the database of the images. It is interesting task. Like I have it was a business task from the client, and their task, if some person took a photo of something, and is it possibility to find this item in the store. So I used embeddings. No, especially I used like different calls to LLM. I created, first of all, I created the like description of that pictures, and next stored the descriptions in vector base, and next, according to the new incoming image, it was again decoded to the like description to have natural description, and according to semantic search, it was like picked up some information, some similar images from vector base. So kind of realization. Also chatbot, I built a chatbot to one of our uh, customers, and connected it to Telegram. Also, it was some new experience for me, like new kind of UI, which is possible to use uh, to talk to your agent or to your chatbot. Interesting tasks were also for one of our clients. They had uh, their calls to call center recorded, and my task was to pick up a text from that audio calls to understand, is it positive, negative, or neutral. Also, one of interesting task is to um, it was some also customer who had a lot of typical documents from old time, and their task was to recognize entities on the documents. So recognize the documents, and as output, LLM gave me a JSON structured answer with all of that entities which I described, which I need from the documents. And actually, with help of LLM, it was really possible to achieve good results on especially big amount of data. Uh, so it was like kind of different tasks in different fields actually also.
Okay, so as I understood, the most of your experience is about generative AI. So, uh, yeah, you didn't
Actually,
work
yes.
with the traditional ML, right? So, for example, computer vision or working with structured data.
I worked with that kind of tasks mostly on the trainings. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm preparing like for ML engineering for GCP, and the same like ML engineer for Azure. There is a lot of tasks, especially on playbooks, where it was possible for me some option to get some experience with traditional ML, and a lot of theory, of course, also pick it up
Mm-hmm.
from there. Yes, but directly, actually, I have lack maybe of experience with like production grade ML systems.
Okay, got it. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I think we are ready to move to the second part. Let's begin with the example. Let's assume, okay, we have a product, and for example, we've already gathered the business requirements. We translated them into the ML objectives. Data engineers have helped us to collect the required data. And now your task as an ML engineer to sample from this data and to label this data for actual ML model training. And my first question is, what sampling methods to get training data do you know?
So we have like raw data, right? And we need to have some samples from the data for our next steps, correct?
Not necessarily raw data. This data can be already cleaned by data
Mhm,
engineers. But for example, there is a huge amount of data, and it might be expensive to train the model on all of this data. And you want to get a sample of them,
mhm.
uh, a sample of it, and to train your model on this sample. And
Okay, okay.
what are the strategies to sample this data? So the model training is efficient and the model will perform as expected.
Okay, I understand. So there is sampling from that data. I know one of the approach, maybe simplest one, it is like randomized pickup when all of our data have like equal opportunity to be picked up from to our sample,
Mm-hmm.
and it is kind of statistical method. Also, it could be options like also kind of random, but maybe more systematic sampling when we uh, have some groups and pick up some element from that group, and next with some step we are just picking up that element from that subgroups. So it is important to know that we have all of important data right for our sample, and in that case it is Strata's common game, like stratify sampling, when we have subgroups, especially when we have some subgroups which is represented with low amount of represented like of examples. It could be one of the option to pick up like all of important information from there. Also, what it could be just convenient sampling, also to pick up all of the available data which we can use at the moment, like without any specific approach to that.
Well, what is the main drawback of this approach? Just if you sample the data just by convenience, so it's just convenience choice. What is the main drawback?
It could be like how to say it, like fluid data, not important data, or data which is have not good quality to study to learn our model on that data. It could be like not representative, or
Mhm.
yeah. So we are not sure in that case in the quality of our sample.
Yeah, I would say the main disadvantage you mentioned that the data can be not representative, so it doesn't represent the population which this sample is, yeah, which the instances are sampled from.
Yeah,
So
I understand. What do you mean?
okay, and you also mentioned about just simple random sampling. But what is the main drawback of it? And to compare the simple random sampling with the stratified sampling.
Mhm. So in simple random sampling, there is a possibility that we don't pick up some some examples entity which have important or which is like with good quality, or which could be important for representation of our data, because we do it just randomly. And in the case of stratified sampling, we have groups which is represented like their, I don't know, not population, like some specific probably on that group. And when we use stratified sampling, we could be sure that all of the groups is represented in our sample. So
Mm-hmm.
when our model is learning, we know that important examples is represented there, and we covered all of our options. I don't know, spread of that data.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I think it makes sense. Let's then talk about data labeling process. So, do you know the difference between hand labels and natural labels?
Yes, hand labels, it is, I think it is probably main approach, especially historically, when person, some human, take an example and assign some label to that example. And
Mm-hmm.
in natural labels, it is different approach when we have some data which is like added bonus to our data. They have already some information, like it could be kind of timestamp in tabular data, or it could be, I don't know, part of the name of the file which could be used by the model, or mm, in that kind of labeling, it could be used to assign some simple, maybe pre-labeled. I don't know. Maybe it is possible to use for pre-labeling, like to pick up some information, to categorize it for the moment. So it is some additional information that come to us with our examples. Would it be
Um,
correct?
I would say for yeah, you have clearly described the hand labeling. Yeah, I think it's obvious that people label the data manually.
Mm-hmm.
But regarding natural labels, yeah, I think uh, you were going in the wrong direction because actually, yeah, I will provide the example. Let's assume there is a recommendation system that recommends different movies or products that the users will mostly like,
Yep.
and we can measure or the effectiveness of the recommendation system by, I don't know, the simple example of whether the user click on this product or movie or not.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, if the user clicks on this product, we'll log this information, and actually we obtain the natural label that this recommendation is good enough to be clicked. And then we can reuse this data for model training. So actually, we receive the feedback from the system, actually whether the users click on these products or not, and we then we can reuse this data for model retraining. So this is the nature of natural labels. They are derived automatically by the system.
So it is kind of like additional information, right, which we can achieve from our systems.
It's not like additional information. It's just by nature. So we show our products.
Oh, okay.
Let's assume we are building the recommendation system, and we just suggest as a first iteration, it's a simple rule-based system. We recommend products based on popularity, and that's it. And we don't consider the user interests and so on. And when we show these products, users either click on these products or not. And then if the user clicks on this product, yeah, we understand that the user likes this product, and we can use it as a label. So this can be reused for further model training, and then we can replace the simple rule-based system with the ML approach.
Okay, I didn't work with them directly, but I was thinking that maybe it is some algorithms like picking up that information from from the source of data. Okay, maybe here I'm like a bit wrong.
Uh, okay, so maybe let's talk about the problem of lacking the labels in our training data. Let's assume we have data, but
Yeah.
we don't have enough labels for
Oh,
model
okay.
training.
Yep.
Do you know some methods how we can overcome this issue in order to prepare the labeled data set for further model training,
Okay.
except hand labeling, because it might be expensive, and
Mm-hmm.
it might be slow.
Okay.
What other methods do you know?
Well, I know that it is also possible to use some algorithms of machine learning to create the new labels, especially like unsupervised learning or self-supervised learning. When
Mhm.
these algorithms have possibility to like create new labels according to some limited maybe amount of available labels. It is in the case of semi supervised learning, and in unsupervised learning I think also it is also used for like preparation of data for task of kind of classification tasks when it is by some attributes or some data by the information of data it can prepare or do some pre like classification by some their attributes of the data. So we can by that algorithms we can create some kind of labeled data which will be not maybe very will not have quality enough, but it will be useful for next steps, like uh, to prepare good labels, like good quality labels.
Yeah, you are talking about clustering, right? As I understood.
Yep, in the case of unsupervised
Unsupervised
learning.
learning. Yeah, but it works a bit different because actually, with unsupervised learning, you can apply something like k-means clustering and cluster your data into 3 or 5 clusters, for example, and then you need to analyze these clusters and assign the labels to them. So this is how it works. So the clustering algorithm by itself doesn't apply labels to the data samples. So
So
it
it is
just
a
allows you to
preparation,
cluster.
right?
Yeah. So it allows you to cluster the data into the groups, and then it simplifies the further analysis for you. So you can see the common patterns, and you use these common patterns in the group in order to label the data. Maybe you know something about transfer learning. So, for example, you mentioned that you had an experience with generative AI, and you are probably familiar with the concept of fine tuning.
Yep.
So, what does it mean? Fine tuning and transfer learning, yeah, we can use them interchangeably. But could you tell more about it?
So if I understand it correctly, we in some cases we have already available models which have their like ways, their structure in the system, and we have options to use that data in our new system. Like in the case of fine tuning, we can use that knowledge and prepare some like do some tuning on that data by adding some new information, or no, how to say it, so we can use that data which we already have, especially weight matrix from one model, to create another model without training, but with usage of that data like from first model.
Okay, so yeah, to summarize it, so we can take the model that was pre-trained on for another task and fine tune it
Mm.
for your task. This
Yep.
is this is often the case with in the NLP field when we take the open source, let's say, BERT model, and then we can fine tune it for your classification task or for sentiment analysis. If, for example, your texts are domain specific, the model could not know about the specifics of your domain, and you can label your data and then fine tune already pre-trained model in order to solve your task.
Actually, I used fine tuning on the education cases when it was. Oh, not actually. One time also for the client, we did fine tuning when we needed a kind of structured output. Uh, when so it was task or problem when the model didn't give uh, output in that form which we wanted, even with prompt tuning. So we used fine tuning and especially some corpus of data, especially no, special for that business, for that customer, to fine tune
Mm-hmm.
that model. And if I understand correctly, so transformer, no, you asked about uh, transition learning, which we can
To transfer learning.
oh,
This is the same
transfer
concept,
learning.
but more general, because yeah, as I said, transfer learning and fine tuning, yeah, we can use them interchangeably, and it applies not only to transformer models. It can be applied to computer vision tasks when we take something like ResNet, neural network architecture, and then we can fine tune the dense layer in order to classify images.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't apply only to NLP. It can be applied to other areas of machine learning. So just in its core, it's a technique when the model was pre-trained for one task on the big corpus of data, and then we can use much smaller data set, and this is why it resolves the data labeling problem. So we don't need a lot of data samples, labeled data samples, in order to train our model. We can just fine tune the existing one.
Okay, I understand. So it is also in the case when we have not labels. It
Yeah, yeah,
not have not limited amount, and it is one of the approach.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly.
Thanks.
Okay, I think we can move to the next question. Let's shortly talk about feature engineering. What feature engineering techniques do you know?
Hmm. Uh, so when we are ready to not ready when we want to learn our model, we need some features, and it is. Future engineering techniques depends from kind of data. For numerical data, we can use normalization, right? For categorical data, we can use other approach, kind of one-hot encoding. So we need kind to do these features useful for our system, and it is one of the uh, option. Like with timestamps data, we can also use we can pick up some useful information, and this kind of one hot, I think, encoding when we can pick up date or months or week, some special information from that information. Right. Also, we can create new futures from existing data by some manipulation, especially like with longitude, longitude futures. It is like coordinates which we can get or opposite from the location in the world.
What about handling missing values?
Missing values actually is a problem for machine learning, and we have two main approaches. One of them is just to delete that data which have not which have missing values. It could be so it is some approaches also. It could be like deleted table or deleted rows with missed values. And also other approach, it is imputation of data. So according to some statistic approaches, it could be like filling of that data by um, some average, not yeah, maybe some average data like moda, median, kind of that. Also, it could be interpolation used to increase that, not increase, sorry, like to find
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, Mykhailo, I think it's enough. Let's maybe, could you compare the deletion and imputation? What are their pros and cons?
yeah, so in
Just
the case,
shortly.
yeah, in the case if we are deleting information, deleting rows, it is possible that we delete some important features.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are limiting some information in our database. In the case of imputation, we left the size of our data the same and just fill in missed values by some maybe temporary values or some useful informative values for us, which is like statistically correct.
Uh, yeah, I think the problem with imputation, it's like
But
we
it,
can add
uh,
noisy data. So yeah,
yeah,
we can
that's
derive the
true.
statistics, but it's not necessarily related to the sample that we apply a imputation on.
Yeah, this data could be not very correct, right? So it could be noise from that data,
Yeah,
if
so
especially if
it's
it is
just
a
an
lot of it.
assumption. It's just an assumption. We derive this assumption from the statistical distribution, for example, and just replace the missing value with this assumption. For example, with the mean. So, for example, medium income, we can derive the average of all incomes that are available in our data set, but it's not necessarily true for the one particular sample where this value is missing.
Hmm. And if I understand correctly, it is like more hard, maybe imputation is more difficult process than just deletion, right? So we should understand, does it work or not for our case?
Of course, yeah. And this is why when you have missing values, you need to investigate why they are missing. Because they can be missing completely at random. And if there are a couple of cases, completely random missing values, then you probably can just delete them. But for example, if there is a correlation, for example, you have some data samples with medium income, and this medium income is missing. But medium income can be missing because, I don't know, more rich people don't wanna expose their revenue
Hmm. Yeah, shows
to
their
public. Yeah.
data to
So
be
this
kind of
is what
private
you
data.
should keep in mind, and the main knowledge is required for feature engineering. And actually, I would say how well you handle the features and missing values, the more accurate the model could be.
Yeah, if I understand, it's really important. Yeah, because like how you prepare your data, really quality of your model will depends from it,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Okay, great. I think let's talk about maybe the training process. What is the bias variance trade-off during training?
Yep. So bias and variance, it's kind of errors which we achieve at the moment of producing our model, especially when we have when our model trained on trained data. If it is very simple algorithm we use for complex data, it could be we can achieve bias errors that data is so complex and our system can't handle it on the normal case. And in the case of variance, it is like a question how good it is adopted after training to the real world data. And high uh, and variance there, so it is like a parameter to understand how well our model is generalized for new data. Uh, maybe it is not very clear. So
No, you are moving into the right direction, but I would say, yeah, you said that we can take the simple model and it might not learn the patterns from the complex data.
yeah,
But this
complex.
is the case where you will have the big variance in the training, because the errors between the actual values and the predicted values will be too big.
Yeah, I'm agree. So it is high variance. So the trade-off to find algorithm maybe or approach to have approximately low variance and bias, but their relationship is like opposite. So when we
Mhm.
have low bias, usually we have higher variance and opposite.
Mhm.
So in that case, there is a task to find appropriate algorithm to to understand to have possibility to work with that complexity and to produce good predictions.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. Um, okay, another question regarding model training. Uh, what do you know about ensemble learning?
Ensemble learning, so it is one of the approach in machine learning where we use not only one model for our task. When we prepare like set of models which produce better output or better final result than any like one model. And in that case, what I know it is some approaches like boosting, bagging, and probably
Mhm.
stacking. And their difference is like approach how they work with that model. So in the case of bagging, it is uh, it could be like one set of data but separated on different groups, and different models will be learned on that set of data. That data will be exchanged, so part of that will be for training reason and part of that it will be for validation reason. And these models will be trained separately, and next for the final result they will produce answer like together. So it could be maybe kind of voting in the classification tasks, right? What is biggest votes for like that output, or it could be maybe some approximation of their results in the uh, like regression tasks, right? In the case of boosting, it is different approach when models learn like yeah, learn one by one. So one is started and have some limitation, maybe some errors, and second
Mhm.
model is learning and trying to improve or to overhead like to handle these errors from the first model. Uh, and
Mhm.
yeah, in the stacking, I think it is just uh, it is kind of a lot of models working together to create some grand model. I don't know, like to create master model, but maybe not like that. Uh, so our approach to achieve some one great model like master model by the aggregation of different models at the same time.
Um, okay. Yeah, I think it's enough. Uh, let's then move to the deployment part. Um, what do you know about the difference between batch prediction and online prediction? And can you tell more about use cases where batch prediction is more appropriate and where online prediction is more appropriate?
Yes, so batch prediction, it is a kind of prediction of the bug, not a prediction of the bug, it is a prediction which works on the huge amount of data probably. So it is not should be done in the time, like it should not be done fast, but it is batch or like batch chunk of tasks which should be done, not very important at which time, but it could be it is necessary a lot of, probably not a lot, but uh, yeah, okay, a lot of computation for that kind of task. In real-time prediction or stream prediction, it is time sensitive, so we can do prediction. Our model can do prediction at the near real time. So data just arriving here to the model, and model ready to produce the answer in the real time. In the batch, we can schedule this job for later, or it could be some triggers to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
I have some practical cases, like when I was working with the task to recognize documents, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like batch of documents. It was not very important to done it like immediately. I just
Mm-hmm.
started the job when it is convenient, and especially in clouds it is possible to use some cheap computation to produce these workloads, and it is done in batch. And when I created a chatbot, when it is question in real time from the user to the model, it is streaming prediction when model answers at the same time, approximately at near time. So it is for real time analysis or like conversation to the model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it sounds reasonable. Um, okay, actually, also regarding the model deployment process. So, in general, we have two options. We can either deploy the model to the cloud or to the
Yep.
edge device. Just deploy to your
Yep.
smartphone or to the desktop application. Can you compare pros and cons of these approaches?
Yes, so actually cloud development is very popular because it is given like a lot of opportunity, especially what I like there, it is scaling. When it is a lot of users is approaching your like endpoint to talk to your model, it can scale in the size, and also it is management, like a lot of services in the cloud is managed automatically for you, so you don't need to manage that infrastructure or kind of that. Especially also one of the plus that some of the models require a lot of computation and maybe some GPUs for that computation, some storage, some memory, what is good in cloud. In the case of deployment to, but also it is some limitation actually in the cloud because we need to connect there. We need internet connection in any case, like uh, to knock there right to our model.
Mm-hmm.
And what I had, one of the problem with my clients about cloud, there is data governance, they had some restrictions that data should not leave country area.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of edge device deployment, sorry, uh, it is also some limitations, like what I saw, a lot of models, they are really huge, and it is difficult to use them on edge devices because also they need like space, they need memory, they need some additional like resources for processing. On other hand, it is some techniques which can do models much smaller, right?
Mm-hmm.
To use them locally. And what is
Can you provide some examples of techniques that allows
uh,
you to reduce the model size?
Uh, yes, it is. I think one of most popular it is like quantization when we decrease
Mm-hmm.
precision of weights,
Mm-hmm.
and according to that we have like not 32 bits like decimal scheme, and we have like 8-bit, much smaller. So it is kind of
Mm-hmm.
quantization when we decrease that size. And also, I know that it is distillation knowledge. I think it is like transfer knowledge which we were talking about, like transparent knowledge and distillation knowledge. When we from huge model we distill the it weights, but not all of them is important to continue, like to have possibility to do that kind of task. And prune
Mm-hmm.
also kind of some of the possibility to decrease the size of model. But I think quantization may be main one in that case. And in the edge devices, also to some classes opposite to cloud, that we can work with our private data locally without internet, with our model, and it is like more if it is some restrictions for data usage, edge devices deployment could be more suitable for that kind of tasks.
Okay, yeah, so sounds reasonable. Thank you. Okay, let's assume we've deployed our model to production environment, but machine learning lifecycle never ends,
Mhm.
actually, and you need to perform the model performance because yeah, there are different reasons why the performance of the model can decrease, and one of them is data distribution shift. Could
Mhm.
you please tell more about it? What does it mean, and what techniques do you know for detecting data distribution shifts?
Okay, about data distribution shifts, it is a problem which we can face in when we prepared, like we trained our data, our model on some data, and in a real world scenario, when our model is already in production, it could be some changes in the data nature, like
Mm-hmm.
so the situation changed, and the real data and data from the training, they have like different not parameter, like different quality. Especially like, okay, if we trained our model on some historical data, and at the moment we are going to the market, and on the market already some new contributor maybe, or some company which provide new product, and the behavior of customers, it is changed. So in
Mm-hmm.
that case we have this data drift, and to understand it we need to monitor the performance of our model to see if it is degraded. It could be also some feedback from the users, like some maybe up, some down, and to understand this data drift of monitoring and logging, it is one of the way. And I know it is some statistical approaches to understand is like data have similar points or not points, like is data have similar features or not. I didn't work with them directly, but I remember I think kind of them is uh, I don't remember names of statistical methods, but uh, someone with Ivanov. I think kind of statistical method.
Kolmogorov, Smirnov, to
Kolmogorov,
sample test. Mhm.
Kolmogorov, Smirnov. So it is kind of that like statistical approach to understand the difference or similarity in the data.
Mhm.
So, mm, what is else could be used there? I think, okay, also it could be other models, other kind of artificial intelligence used for that to understand that drift, to see the difference in the data, like kind of anomaly detections.
Mhm. Uh, yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, we don't have a lot of time to discuss it, I think. So probably I will ask a couple of questions about MLOps, and then we will move to the coding task. And my first question would be, okay, let's assume you have a team of machine learning engineers, data scientists, and in order to make their work efficient enough, you need to standardize the development environment. So
Yep.
the environment is reproducible in a way that the environment is reproducible, and so you don't encounter the situation when the code works on one machine but doesn't work on another one. Uh,
Hmm.
what would you do in order to standardize the development environment and streamline this development workflow?
Okay, I think it is very similar, like to DevOps, this paradigm of
Mm-hmm.
microservices, where we can use containers environments, and also additional approaches, like for standardization, like virtual environments for our dependencies, or kind of like in Python requirement text file to collect all of the dependencies to keep them consistent. And especially with containerization, we can achieve like the same environment on any device in any situation. So we just set there like operating system, kind of, if we need, or like dependencies and libraries, everything what we need there, we can uh, like have it standardized in one container. So we can call it container, right? And next, it give us possibility also to scale or to reproduce it on any system, because it is like a close environment inside of this container.
Yeah, I think what you said about the containers, containerization is beneficial, of course, especially for deployment and auto scaling. But yeah, usually, let's assume you're just a developer. You open an IDE and you just write the code. You don't usually make adjustments in your code in the Docker container. So
Hmm.
the Docker container is usually the last phase when you
Yep.
package your code into the container, and this container can be run on the different machine. But during development, yeah, you mentioned that you can log your requirements, and what's important.
And
Um,
also maybe control version systems also is useful for that, right? Like when we can uh, control our code and like keep it steady and collaborate with the team before
yeah,
we, and also it is kind of automation there.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention about locking requirements. It's very important because
Hmm.
if you just list the names of different packages and libraries without the exact version, it might be the case that whenever a new team member joins your team and pulls the repository into their local machine,
Yep.
they can encounter the situation that the environment is not reproducible because when they install the dependencies, they can install the different versions from what you have on your machine.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
And it can break actually the whole process. The application yeah, might not work.
Actually, I saw it on I don't remember. It is like kind of different approach to store and lock our dependencies. I don't remember just how does it goes. But in my case, mostly I use like requirement text with versions. I don't know, is it like appropriate approach or not in that case?
Yeah, it's completely workable. You can just do pip freeze, run pip freeze command in order to lock your dependencies. But there are different tools. I am a fan of UV. The last development for Python ecosystem.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it actually allows you to it replaces all the tools for the Python ecosystem and combines them into one tool. And you can easily lock your dependencies, manage your package, manage your project. So this is a, I think it's a very good tool for standardization as well. And another way I would say, you can you can go further. You can actually use the cloud environment for development, and yeah, and force force the team to use the cloud environment. So and it allows the system administration team not to use a lot of not to manage a lot of devices, and control what's installed there and so on. So you just have one standardized environment in the cloud. And yeah, but of course there is a con of that. Cloud requires spending money.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I think we can move on to some generative AI questions. Um,
Mhm.
and let's talk about shortly prompt engineering. What prompt engineering techniques do you know how to get the better results from large language models?
It is some approaches and some recommendations. What I know, recommendations may be more useful for like wide spread of people who use generative AI applications. So it is some kind of recommendation. When you talk to your data, you should be kind of specific. You should be objective. Uh, you should keep in mind, oh, you can give a role for the model to like shorten or narrow in the field where the model will look for that information. Specific. Also, it is possible to provide context. And if we are talking about, and okay, context, one of the important thing I think for about instructions, and also it could be instruction for output type which you want to receive. So you can, especially also you can give some examples as a context. So in that case, with examples, it is already kind of technique for prompt engineering. It calls like one hot encode, not encoding, like
One shot prompting.
one shot prompting, yes, or multi-shot prompting when you give the examples to the model. So zero shot prompting, it is just prompt without examples. It is possible for the moment now to talk to model and receive the uh, chain of thought of that model, and this technique it calls like chain of thoughts. It is possible to achieve just to by adding maybe some uh, data to the prompt where you ask like think step by step or provide the
Mhm.
reasoning of your answers. What it could be also, it is some modern approaches, additional like chain of thoughts, chain of
Yeah,
something else.
I think it's enough.
Okay, yeah, so it is really techniques how you can improve, and it is really big difference in the outputs depending from your approach to talk to the model. And actually, REG also kind of prompt engineering, which is used to achieve good results from the model.
I wouldn't say it's a prompt engineering technique. It's actually the pattern how the generative AI application might be built. Um,
I think maybe yeah, so probably you're correct. I mean that okay, when we are picking up context and give to the model, REG give us our possibility like to create additional content to give to the model. But yeah,
yeah.
probably it is
Okay. Yeah.
framework.
No. It. I think it's acceptable answer. Okay. Can you describe in detail how the rack system might look like?
So when we have like base models or like general models, kind of GPT or Gemini or Cloudy, uh, they are have limitations. They have only knowledge which they was training on or which they give by context. So they can have limited some limitation. And when we are talking about business usage, I think it is one of the main direction probably for businesses to adopt generative artificial intelligence to their knowledge, to their knowledge base. So all of them have information, and REG gives the possibility to use this knowledge base with generative AI. How does it work? It is that it is a combination of retriever and generation. So when we have our documents, as example, one document like PDF document, we send it to the system. System chunks it to the smallest parts. That smallest parts next uh, how to say decoding in the vectors. It is not just text, right? In that case, text coming to be the numbers, like floating numbers, a vector of floating numbers, which calls embedding, and that embeddings machine already can read and understand. So that embeddings is our knowledge. From them, or yeah, from them we are building our knowledge base. Knowledge base or these embeddings will be stored in vector database, which have possibility to store them, to separate them like on their fields or their space in the database, and it gives the possibility according to the new in-cabin embedding to find similar embeddings some neighbors of that embedding. Similarity search it calls, right? And by the semantic no, maybe it is semantic search. It give us possibility to find information according to the semantic information of that part of text, if it is text. So in our case, when the user asks some question, this question is going to be also converted to embedding, the same system as before we converted our text. And according to that embedding in our vector database, we are looking for similar documents from the base. And next, we gave to the LLM our original question from the user and that parts of documents which we retrieved additionally, and we provide them as a context. And it is also some additional options maybe to fine tune, like we can re-rank or check most like appropriate parts which we picked up from the database to provide to LLM not all of the information, but maybe just most relevant, or yeah, more relevant information we should need. And also we have limitation of LLMs, especially with context window, the amount of information which we can give to the LLM. And in the case of REG, we are like handling that problem also. We just put all of the necessary information to provide good answer.
Okay, but you've mostly described the case of using vector databases and semantic search.
Yeah.
But is the RAC limited to the semantic search, or yeah, we can use something else? We can
We can use, yeah,
yeah, Moon.
okay, so I told databases, vector database, kind of new actually, if I understand it correctly, database, but it is also libraries or could be libraries which work with embeddings. But some of databases, vector databases built on the base of like older databases, and they can combine some options. So it could be semantic search, especially with how's other type like direct search by the when the word which we are looking for will be also checked in the index for the exact.
Yeah, there are different techniques. There is a cosine similarity. Uh, we can also use nearest neighbors
Okay,
algorithm.
you're asking about our approach inside how
No,
we can
I
find this information, right?
actually I asked, yeah, more how to say it. So you're talking mostly about the text, the embedding and the semantic search, but you
Yep.
also mentioned in the beginning that you were working on the text to SQL problem.
Yep.
Can we just translate the text into SQL and make a search in this more just classical relational database in order to enrich our prompt with structured data?
Yes, it is. Yeah, sorry. So it is other approach, and in that case, we need some additional data, like not data from database, but we need, or maybe data from database. We need schema of our data to create these queries. But it is also possible. So we give the information about our table to our LLM. LLM can produce SQL query according to that schema. Next, it could be executed in the database, or actually it could be also in memory if it is not huge amount. And according to the result of SQL, we provide to LLM the query and the result to get final result. And it could be actually tables or also graphical review, or graphical view, which could be also useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, to summarize the rack, we can say that actually the main part is we can enrich with the external information, but our prompt and ask the model to generate the answer. But it might be like structured data from the relational database. It might be it might be semantic search when we search for the similar text in the vector store,
Hmm.
or it might be even like searching the internet. We can search for example, if we ask the question about what are the latest financial news
Yep.
or what are the latest news in the sport, the LLM has a limitation because it might be trained on the data until I don't know 2024, and now we want to yeah to get the news information from the internet, and we can so actually it's called an agentic rack when
Hmm.
we have multiple choices where we can retrieve information in order to enrich our prompt.
I understand. In any case, it is like retrieval of additional
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
even.
So actually, it's a very, very generic thing. It's not only related to
Hmm.
the vector search.
I agree. Understood. Yeah, didn't think about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, got it.
Okay, and probably the last question for this part. When is it beneficial to fine tune the language model?
Hmm. Uh, I understood. So if we
You can even compare, for example, rack and fine tuning as two approaches, or maybe we can even combine them to resolve your task. But
from from my experience, what I remember, like from education part, when we can't achieve the result which we need from our LLM, especially like when we have outputs which we not expected. We are expected one, not we are expecting kind of output, and we can't achieve it even with prompt engineering, we even with reg. We can use fine tuning to achieve that task, and it could be kind of okay type of answer. If we are trying to achieve some short answer and especially structure it in some way, if we can't achieve it from prompt engineering, we can use fine tuning for that. Or also if we have some specific data and it is some specific terminology, which is like specific for our field. We can use that data to fine tune our model to like increase the knowledge about that terms to use. Or also maybe it is uh, some specificity of your business, and you have some examples how it should be answered on the questions, like if you have some golden standard, how it should be. It is possible also to fine tune model like for that reason, like to achieve the results which you are looking for.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I think we are ready to move to the final part of our interview, the practical task. So actually, yeah, you have a list of dictionaries. If you scroll down, you can see the example. Yeah, example input.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the list of dictionaries, and each dictionaries can contains two keys. But yeah, it can be any number of keys, and one of these keys is flags.
Name
Uh,
and flags, right?
yeah. So your task to is to write the function that extracts all unique flags across all entries. Then you add a new key to each dictionary for every flag, and the value should be 1 if the user has this flag, and 0 if the user doesn't have this flag. So actually, you do something like one hot encoding in this example. Uh, then you need to remove the flags key and replace with one hot encoding. You can see actually the expected output.
Yes, I'm looking now for input and output. So we have a list of dictionaries, right? And next we will have like a set of lists.
Yeah, exactly. So your function has to return the updated list of dictionaries with one hot encoding and the list of all unique flags
Oh,
that are
mhm.
available in this list.
So here they are like string, right? And we will provide them as key and value. Yep.
Yeah, and these flags must be sorted alphabetically.
Okay. I will pick up text input. Okay, about sorted. So it should be probably not list. It should be set in our case. Flags set to have their unique and have. Okay, I can sort it later. Flags set or no. Okay. So first we should pick up our line and check it, right? For entry in data, if entry. So for the line in our data, if flags is there in entry, and we have this flag, so it is not empty. Flag from no entry flags, right? Could be possible. But it is flags, it is a line. Okay. For so we have them unique and we need just sort it, right? Sorry, a moment, just checking is I'm correct here or not. Premium test user. Okay. With that part, it looks like it is working. Now we need new list. Okay, now we are iterating through the lines to pick up, to create new dictionary, right? We need first key and additional keys. So first key, new line is
Okay, Mikhail, I think maybe you can just explain with your voice so what you are going to do next.
okay, right. So we are uh, for the moment we have the list of flags, right? And we are creating new list where it will be dictionary with name parameter and dictionary with keys of the entities of flags. And now I need to pick up from original data this string of flags, and according that pick up each of them. And for available, I want to map it as one, and if they are like not no, in my decision, I think that I will use all flags. This is my parameter. with all of the flags, and next iterate through the line flag parameter. If this flags is there inside, I will mark them as 1. And if they are not inside of my parameters, I will mark them as 0, right? And next, and it will be added as keys and values to our list of dictionaries. And it should looks like what you asked about, if I'm correct, right? So we will have a list where every line is dictionary with key name, with key name of the flag, flags, different flags will have different key, and their values will be 0 or 1.
Yeah, I may say that yeah, the flow in general is correct. Yeah, there
Mhm.
are a couple of edge cases that yeah, we may cover here in the function, but we don't have enough time to discuss it.
Mhm.
Yeah, but in general, yeah, I think I understand what you are going to do.
Yeah, guys, please don't finish this up because I have more questions to you. Not part of the interview. More something
Okay.
it's not gonna happen in the real world, or it's gonna happen in a week or so. But now we are in a show, so we have opportunity to have a like the small feedback on both sides, which I think will be really useful. So first of all, I would like to ask Mykhailo how it goes. How did you like the structure? How did you feel? Like, what was the most maybe complex question, and what answers did you like, and how was actually Denys for you as a uh, as a person who was asking? But I saw that Denys was helping a lot, and like how did it felt, and yeah, how it went for you.
Thank you for that experience. Actually, it is interesting. It is cool. You know, the field like covers a lot of information, and yeah, to be prepared for 100%, this is not simple. Especially, it is more simple when you have some practical knowledge on some of the questions of the parts, and of course, if it is just raw information in your brain, like from education, it is not simple to understand. But especially like question about reg or some generative AI capabilities, it is more interesting or maybe more simple for me, because most of the time I'm working with that part. And yeah, so I'm happy. And also on the task, on the final task, maybe need some time to understand, to think how to do it correct way.
Let's not forget that you were actually knowing in your mind that you are recorded. So I think, and you're gonna be in YouTube. So I think this is something that it's actually can put some pressure on you. So I think you were doing great. Like I think it's really
Thank
complicated.
you. I hope.
My mind is actually was blowing like during your session. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Then
Dennis. Thank you, Alexei.
thank you. Like, what do you think? What is like? I would like to ask you two things. The first of all, it's like official feedback how you actually would do it in the like in the real world. Yeah, this is one part. And the other part would be really nice if you will make the feedback like as you were Mikhailo's friend, because I think it's really useful for the people to hear both sides of that. Okay.
Okay, so the official one. Of course, there are some gaps in knowledge, um, because yeah, machine learning field is very huge, and you need to educate yourself a lot and so on. But I think, yeah, at the same time, in many cases, Mykhailo clearly shared his thoughts and the core ideas. It's a big advantage. He was also in the right way in the coding task. And yeah, I would recommend. Yeah, I think Mikhail is not ready for a senior position, I would say, but I think for the middle one, yeah, he is ready to participate in the projects and complete the tasks. I would recommend to structure the knowledge in different, I would say, in different stages of the ML life cycle, like data preparation, data labeling, feature engineering. These are very important concepts because ML is not like limited only to generative AI. There is computer vision. There is working with structured data. Because sometimes it's better to just use a simple algorithm that everybody understands, and it's easy to interpret the results of the model. And actually, it might be less heavy weighted for inference in production. So it's not necessary to deploy the very complex neural network. It might be costly for inference, and it might be less interpretive. Yeah, my recommendation is to strengthen the knowledge in different areas of machine learning, conceptual knowledge. But yeah, I think it's evolutional process in education. So I think you are in the right way to become a good professional. So this is how I would do the official to provide the official feedback, and just as a friend. Um, yeah, actually, there is no big difference, to be honest, because yeah, I always try to provide the direct feedback and highlight the areas to improve. But yeah, my my personal recommendation is try to not focus on only the fancy stuff, but also
Hmm.
try to focus on like the very fundamental stuff, like data preparation, data labeling, because these are like dirty parts of the process, but they are very important because yeah, there are a lot of algorithms that you can apply to your data, but yeah, the algorithm might be very fancy, very complicated, and very cool. But yeah, if you feed bad data into this algorithm, yeah, your solution will not work. And also the deployment part. So when you develop your model, it's not the the end of life cycle. You need to deploy, you need to maintain, and you need to establish good MLOps best practices in order to streamline the ML development and deployment process.
Hmm.
So yeah, just my personal recommendation: focus on like less fancy things because they are fundamental ones, and this is what will differentiate you from others who are in the race in the race to like to fancy stuff like generative AI, LLMs. Yeah, sometimes even a simple rule-based system can work better than the ML one.
Hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote down some of the points from your recommendation. Thanks, Denys. Yeah, we'll follow and know where to move.
So there we have it. It's another mock interview series completed. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to check out the links in the description to learn more about EngX and how it's transforming the way we work. Also, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with anyone who is going to have something like that in the future, or just want to check out how it can go in the real world. This was Oleksii Malashyna. This was Denys with us and Mykhailo. Thank you guys, and thanks for watching. See you next time.